What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another podcast at the Nail That Studio channel. Today, I want to talk about the division between the old school nail techs and the new school nail techs. Now, I'm seeing a lot of it on social media, even in my posts, in my comment section, whenever I'm doing tutorials, stuff like that. There's always someone to say, hey, that's not how you do things. That's not what the state board wants you to do. And I totally get it. I get it that you come from a generation or a time when you have to follow the book and there's not a lot of advancement in nail technology, but nail technology has grown so much now. And that every year it's going to be something new, something different, some new technique, some new product that we have to work with that the schools and the books are not going to catch up with. And that's what I call the field, like working in the field, you know? And if you're a nail tech from 20 years ago and you are by the book, that's fine. I totally respect that because as a nail tech that's collaborated with a lot of nail schools and encouraged licensing for all nail techs, I totally agree with the sanitation, the disease, understanding how to clean your tools and the proper procedures and all the basic core fundamentals that the schools and the book are able to teach you to get you licensed, quote unquote, to get you licensed. That's the main goal for nail schools. They want to get you licensed. That's where your investments are going to. Are you going to be able to be a nail tech coming straight out fresh from nail school with no experience, be able to keep up with the trends? Probably not. As someone that's, been in the industry for a while and have worked with nail schools, talked to a multitude of nail school owners, there's only so much that they can teach you. The resources that the nail schools have are not equivalent to what the industry is demanding of these nail techs nowadays. And that's why there's a lot of these self-taught nail techs in newer generation that are very quick when they jump in because they're utilizing all the social media tools. They're trying all the new trends, the new products, and they're just running with it. And I see in the comment section, or I see on social media, it's like an old generation of nail techs are always kind of butting head of the new generations. Like, you're not supposed to use that tool. You're not supposed to be doing that. You're doing it wrong. You're supposed to do it this way. You're unlicensed and whatnot. And then the new generation is like, hey, who do you tell me what to do? You're not paying my bills. And that's always that division right there. At the end of the day, nail school's job, like I said, is to get you licensed. They're never going to be able to keep up with the nail technology that's constantly changing every day, every year. Now, understandably, if every nail tech should understand the disease, how to sterilize, how to clean their tools, the Barbicide certifications, that is very standard. But when it comes to technique, how to apply acrylic, using this tool, that tool, there's kind of some room for a wiggle room there because you have to understand the books are so outdated. Some of the books are outdated. The newest edition has not even caught up with what we're using now. There are those things that when we're in the field, we kind of learn, from experience, how to use these tools that the book doesn't show us how to use, and just to get to work on the clients. And going back to the nail schools, I'm not saying all nail schools are not going to be able to prepare a nail tech for the industry now, but majority can't because they just don't have the resources to hire someone with the experience and have the time. They have to follow the state board. The state wants you to spend 200 hours out of your 300 hours or your 250 hours out of your 300 hours just on the theory, disease, sanitation, control, and then only 50 hours on practical, learn how to do acrylics and application. That's what the school is going to do, not vice versa. And the nail techs that go to school, they need more of the practical. They need more of the hands-on, the acrylic, the shaping, the trends, all that stuff, and they can't get it because the schools have to do what the state requires of them. Utilize those hours properly. And majority of the time, the state's going to focus more time on the theory. And that's okay. That's to get yourself licensed. Now you have to enter the industry and you have to learn how to do all these things and catch up to the trends by yourself. And some schools do have accelerated programs or extra programs that help these nail techs. I mean, there are schools that are owned by previous seasoned nail techs. They understand what the nail techs need and they try to make it work as best as possible. They have enough experience to teach them, and those are great. But not very many of those. Nail schools, the job is to get them licensed. So at the end of the day, if I get you licensed, yes, you maybe struggle how to do application or shaping a little bit. That's going to be the trade-off. The state board, when you take this test and the practical, they're not going to care. They're not going to care if you can do nails, long nails designs. No, they're not. They're going to care if you know how to use that tool, you know how to clean that tool, properly go through the process the way that the book shows you. And therein lies the problem with a lot of older generation nail techs. They stick to that book. Everything's right word for word. I'm sorry, but you're not going to use that book to compare yourself to nail techs that have been in the field working and trying to keep up all these trends. The book hasn't caught up yet. And that's just something we have to just say, that's just that gray area. These nail techs out here, they're learning at an accelerated rate. Every time a new product, every time a new tool comes out, there's going to be a tutorial video. Someone's going to sell it, and they're going to learn how to use it. And it's a quality of life thing. You guys have to understand. Nail technology is a quality of life for the nail tech. Take e-filing, for example. There was a time when nail schools didn't even allow you to use an e-file. Everything has to be hand filed. But the salons are using Dremels and e-files for the longest time. And at some point, they caught up? Okay, fine. You can use e-files now. We have an e-file certification. Just pay for it. A little bit extra. Okay, that's fine. I'm willing to pay for it if I needed it. But see how they catch up? Dip method, for example, been out for 10 years. Nail schools now in the last couple of years have now incorporated in their books. Check your Milady book, the latest edition. Check your Tammy Taylor book. You'll see dip method being incorporated there. I mean, you telling me 5-10 years ago, these nail techs or the older generation nail techs, they'll look at dip and say, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But dip is just literally silk wrap. It's just silk wrap. It's just a more using acrylic instead of using silk wrap and resin. And it's just that's the nail technology. It's going to constantly grow, and the school's going to try to keep up with it as best as possible. I don't blame the school owners, to be honest with you. The state board is the one that has to keep up with all that stuff. For them to say, "Hey, listen, we need a new edition of the book," well, guess what? They have to buy it. It's going to cost the school more. They'd rather keep it the way it is. But in a sense, I'm going to take it my word. I'm going to take it back. I don't blame the schools. I just think that it's very hard for the schools, the state board to keep up with the nail technology and the way the industry is going in general. There's no way. There's never going to be a point where it's caught up because everything in the field is growing too fast. So going back to the old heads, I'd say old heads, don't get offended. I'm an old head. I'm from, early 2000s, 2006, 2007 as a nail tech, before all the fancy stuff. You guys just got to understand. These younger generation girls, they're not the same type of nail techs as us. If you want to focus on the book and just do that classic nails and the way you want to do it, structured, however you want to do it, great. But if these girls going to be out there using all these tools, doing all these trends and styles, you might not agree with it. And that's okay. But you cannot be on there telling them what to do and what not to do because you don't pay their bills. And that's what they're going to tell you. And you're going to get really offended by that. I used to make videos to open up dialogues. I still do. I say used to, but I've been doing it for a long time. And just trying to bridge that connection with these new generation nail techs. There's a way to reach them, to get them enough information. I work with these schools. The schools say, how do we get these nail techs to get their license? When they're already doing nails, great. Well, what are the point of them getting their license? I tell them the only way you can get them to get a license is to understand what their needs are. Give them their flowers and make sure that make them understand that you have to protect those flowers now. Because if you're doing great nails self-taught and someone comes to you and says, you're an unlicensed nail tech, you shouldn't be charging that much compared to us licensed nail tech. Guess what? If I'm that nail tech, I'm going to say, screw you. But my approach is like, hey, you're doing amazing work. And you should definitely protect your investment. Dot your T's, cross your T's, dot your I's, and protect yourself. Get your license so that you don't have any issues. You don't get maybe someone jealous of you, report you, this and that. You may potentially, get hefty fines. Get your license. And that way is how you reach them. And majority of nail techs, they're very receptive of that. And now it comes to the point where we have to make it more accessible for these nail techs to get their license. So the division between the old generation nail techs and new generation nail techs, that's one of those things where I think is we're never gonna have meet head to head. We just gotta understand that we all have our own lane. We all have our own lane. These nail techs, the newer generations, are kind of aggressively learning new things. They have their own lane, and you have your own lane of doing things. And at the end of the day, our job is to make the clients happy and keep them safe as possible. Rather give them information so they can learn about the disease and sanitation control than come down hard on them. They're gonna not listen at all. And that's my take on what I'm seeing right now in the social media. In the comment sections, majority of the time you go to the comment section of any video, you'll see it. Anytime someone posts something a little bit etchy or a little bit out there, you're gonna see a lot of people are gonna speak up on it and they're gonna fight in the comments. And this is what I'm talking about with the old generation compared to the new generation of nail techs. And I think at the end of the day, we all stay our own lane. We'll be better off. And these new generation nail techs, they're gonna get there, as in they're gonna understand. Getting your license is gonna be more beneficial to you than not beneficial to you. We just gotta make sure we send the message in a way they're more perceptive. And the way I'm seeing a lot of comment in the comment section for these videos, even my videos, that's not how you tell them or get them to receive your message by telling them they shouldn't be charging what they're charging because they're unlicensed, and that you pay thousands of dollars, getting your nail license and doing clients now. You should deserve more. This craft, this trade we're doing, yes, the license is important. The license allows you to be a licensed professional. It gives you the ability to kind of price yourself right. But at the end of the day, it's all about your work, how well you do things. Just because you have a license, if you can't shape your nails or lifting, or you can't draw a good French, or you can't produce a good set, then yeah, your pricing does not match your license. This girl may not have a bad license, but if her nails are flawless because she's put in the work, invested in the products, or even take a private class, whatever, just to get that style down, and the client's willing to pay for that type of look, she deserves that money, regardless if she's licensed or not. I would encourage her to get licensed, but I'm not gonna make it so that she's gonna feel down on herself or put her down because she's not licensed. And therein lies the problem that we are right now in this industry, where it is never gonna have that kind of dialogue that needs to be open, and we definitely have to talk about it more. A lot more. I hope you guys really enjoy this podcast. I don't want to keep going on rambling because I feel like I'm rambling, but let me know what you think in the comments, and I'm looking forward to more podcasts in the future. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and let me know what I should talk about next in the comment. Maybe I can answer some questions in some next podcast. And thank you for joining me, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next podcast.